Just get like a 8 foot by 2 foot banner and just drape it over like the wall. It's just like Jefferson and Harley Nelson 2023 champions.
That's right,
like,
everyone. He's still talking about it. Hi,
Yeah.
my name is Philip, and I'm the publisher of this game. And nearly
sponsored by DraftKings.
Yeah, sponsored by
DraftKings.
God, we
They're
should
on
Phil,
sports
we need to get on that DraftKings money.
Dude, DraftKings, boy is online betting really a thing that I guess everyone's just decided is okay.
You know what's even more fun than online betting?
Off-track betting, OTB.
Offline betting.
Offline betting, okay. Also, KJ, I realized that you were not present when I gave the pre-live warning, so I do apologize for you that we are.
No, it's fine.
We were pre-live and now we're live. My name is Philip. I'm your publisher, and I am nearly ensconced, but not fully ensconced, by our wonderful players.
You're cornered.
I am cornered by our players. Say Happy Wednesday, players.
You're kitty cornered?
Happy Wednesday, planners.
Catty cornered? What do you guys say?
Well, no, catty corner is like when you're diagonally across the street.
Isn't it kitty corner?
See, that's what I was going to ask. That's a regionalism. That's why I was asking. Kitty corner or catty corner?
I think it's catty corner.
I've never heard of any of those things.
In California, they just say, over there, bro. What is that T necklace you're wearing? It's across
catty
the
corner is often heard in the UK. Kitty corner is more common in the US and Canada.
There you go.
But I say catty corner.
There you go.
I say kitty corner.
Aren't you just so
Interesting.
Aren't you just
Yeah,
so
I love
so worldly.
I love stealing people's cultural artifacts.
Well, I mean, Catawampus. That's a good one. Thank you, Rose Explodes. Appreciate your
Wow.
there.
Wow,
They do
Rose
not,
Explodes,
they do
what
not
are you
say
doing
what.
right now?
Wait, Sophia, what do they not say? Wait, I don't know. She just said they do not say that, Philip, and I've said too many things. I don't remember. I don't know what I'm being chided.
Yeah, they don't say that.
Mm.
The word "that" doesn't exist in British English.
That's
It's
true.
over there, bro. Maybe.
Also, everybody, I would like to show you that Maisie is over my shoulder now. This is
There
where
it is.
this is where Maisie
I would-
exists.
I always feel
I would
like
like you to
somebody's
pull
watching.
some like Kubrick in The Shining nonsense with this, or just she's somewhere else every stream, and you
I don't
never
have
acknowledge
to do it. It has moved 2 times on its own.
Okay.
I think what you got to do is you got to like.
But you need to
every
never
time
point her
there's-
out or acknowledge her from now on.
You got to bring it slightly like a half an inch closer to the screen each time.
And then it's hovering on its own because
Yeah.
And then one time we start up with a stream and your screen's black and it comes in. It's just a close up of Maisie, and you never make an appearance that episode.
that sometime that would happen. I nearly rearranged 3 rooms in my apartment based on needing to change what was behind me to have a Maisie thing, but instead I remembered guests, so I've only rearranged 2 rooms, but I might still rearrange 3. I don't know. KJ's heard a lot. KJ's received way too many texts about this from me, so I apologize to everyone.
I wouldn't say too many.
Okay, well, I felt bad about me every time I'm writing one because I'm like, this is beyond whatever is beyond banal.
Banal.
So, thank you all for joining us. Now, I know that a week ago, we were really talking... Yeah, I know, okay. Banal, ha ha ha. A week ago, we were talking about doing a Lost Lore Academia tonight. And clearly, there's some player overlap, but we were missing a few players. And because of that, and because, Lost Lore Academia is kind of moving in towards its... what's the term for the final stage of a storyline? Is it the Infinity
If you want,
War?
I can just audit the class tonight.
The orgasm of the storyline.
It's moving into its pre-live, but as we're sort of getting towards the end of that, I kind of didn't want to, I want to have a few more people here for those games, even though it can be fun to only have 3, because last week, boy, did we get up to some interesting stuff without Callie and Frankie as kind of
Oh yeah, there was
Yes,
no morality
AJ.
there.
Yeah.
We entirely reorganized the purple place.
They did not do that. I'm not even gonna joke about. I'm not even gonna have that be a joke that you. I'm so sorry that he said
All
that,
right.
AJ. He didn't. They
Okay.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
More of a lilac place
I think
now?
she'd rather.
I'm not
you,
opposed to lilac. Lilac is a wonderful color.
I think she'd rather you summon 15 more like horror monsters than rearrange the stuff she's done. That's my. That is my.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Put whatever you want to put there at this point, but if you move one goddamn
No.
inch, like I'm gonna lose it. Like.
Oh my god. Gonna reorganize some. Oh my god, I like the idea. Oh my god,
it's all there still in the same place, KJ. It's just been entirely reskinned.
No. That, see, I don't even know that would bother her. Here is what I think is amazing. A prank on someone. I'm not ever gonna do this to you because it's too mean, but something that would really be rough on KJ would be to go to her home.
Oh, I already hate it.
With an interior decorator, like a design person, and while you were out, rearrange everything in a way that is objectively like good and nice, but that just like every display, every picture on the wall is in a different place.
I legitimately felt nauseous right now when you that made my stomach churn.
And I would never do it. I'm just saying, like,
there is literally a show, because when I go home to my parents' place, I discover all sorts of new cable channels that I didn't know existed. But on one of them is a home improvement show where like this woman comes in with her crew and they like renovate a room, or like it's a smallish job, but they do it within hours. It's not like a day. So like this wife took her husband out
back up and are shocked at what's there.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: is like this, but someone knows, right? So like a woman took her husband out to dinner, and when they came back, the room was different. They had cut out a wall, they had built a new staircase, they had put new furniture, they had painted, they reorganized, and the husband did not know this was happening. And I went, that is how you end a marriage. What the fuck are you doing? This is a decision you should at least include someone in. So what's he gonna do? There's a camera crew standing there, a woman walks out and says, we did this to your house. What's he gonna do?
Pretty psychotic.
He's gotta go, great, thanks. There's like, what's he like?
I get that it's good TV though. Sophia says that she has a reason for Armament to be okay with summoning Maisie, but she's scared to tell Dan, probably because it means Armament will summon Maisie. I'm very curious what this is. The solution is no one gets married. I know that refers to the story Pierce was just telling, but I really like that as being Armament's like the idea that Armament is like,
I will summon Maisie, but no one better get married.
Listen very carefully. The institution of marriage is over. We can summon Maisie. Oh, well, anyway, KJ, I feel like I actually upset you, even though I would never do that, but the idea of it is so toxic to you. I really apologize.
The amount I hate people moving my shit is just so immense.
Oh my god.
Even if it looks like a mess, I know exactly where it is, and it's there for a fucking purpose, and I will move it when I damn well need to move it. And if you touch it, so help me God, if someone touches my mess without consulting me, I
have a question, KJ, because I have similar feelings, not as strong as you do, but I have similar feelings. And I want to see if you have did your mom like go in and just straighten your room like while you were at school or something like that? Did you have a similar thing like that where like I would come home and my room would be clean and a way that I now knew where nothing was?
I would ask if I could rearrange, and she would say yes. She would leave it for a week, and then when I was gone, put it back to the way it was.
Why say yes? Like,
beats me.
That's just cruel.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry.
Well, this has gotten off to a rather contentious start. It's a
next up on Topflight, property fiat.
But speaking of property fiat, this is here's the thing. How about we do this as aversion therapy, and the game is Rena, Billy, and Michael flipping houses while people are out of town. So you have to role play as the greatest evil.
That would be really hard.
It would be a tough one to do.
I might be able to do it, but it would turn incredibly unhinged.
There you go. I was just told something I cannot tell Dan. Unfortunately, he has no way of reading it himself. So we're all
I'm actually illiterate.
That explains genuinely so much. No, it doesn't. Dan makes way too many.
Explains why you spelled Michael that way.
God.
Wait, how do you can spell it?
Well, on that note, Let me talk to everyone a little bit about what's going on here with Topflight Tales, and to be honest, this is kind of like a step backwards because, ideally Topflight Tales would be starting once Wednesdays was just Topflight Tales moving forward, because what we're going to do is, I have so many ideas for, like, superhero games, and, we had the Formation Nation this. Once Lost Lore Academia is done, Wednesday is going to be Topflight Tales, which I am treating like a DC showcase, Marvel Spotlight, DC Presents. These kind of like marquee monthly, or in our case weekly, comic anthologies. This is going to give us some flexibility. It's kind of going to be sort of like what was going on with Blood from a Stone, but with a little bit more focus than that, not quite as widespread. So what we'll do is, based on which players we have available, sometimes we'll do a Topflight, sometimes we'll do a Meridian, sometimes we'll do, I don't know if I should announce some of the other things quite yet, even though, like, I'm sure of one of them. But there are some other cool superhero games that we'll do in this time slot. Some weeks, I haven't even said this part to you yet, KJ, some weeks we might do 40 minutes of Topflight, then 40 minutes of Meridian. Sometimes we might do 2 weeks of Topflight in a row to, like, we'll be sort of flexible with it. It's kind of an anthology, sort of a thing like that. Yes.
Will we? You're saying 40 and 40. Does that mean that, like, in between we go to black, come back in the middle of another conversation, and have another, like, 20-30 minutes of pointless banter before we start the game?
If that seems to be what the people are interested in, absolutely. So basically Topflight Tales is kind of going to be our, like, Topflight Universe. I nearly called it Topflight Universe, but then because of the Tome of Tales, I called it Topflight Tales for reasons. Point is, so it's kind of like it's sort of like Topflight appears in it, Meridian appears in it. It's sort of it's like the marquee book of the week, basically. It's just called Topflight Tales. But it's the only one that people actually buy, except it's not a comic book. Yep, there you go. So that's the idea. It's going to be a kind of, like, far-reaching, wide-ranging, different kinds of stuff happens in different things. So that's the Topflight Tales. Now, that is eventually going to be every Wednesday, just in time for our new comic books. But that's, like, our new comic books isn't the ones you buy in the store. We don't have comic books. But for now, it's still going to be sort of splitting back and forth with Lost Lore Academia, which, has a couple more sessions. But pretty soon, we'll be here for the Wednesday thing. Do you have a question, KJ?
No.
Okay, cool, gotcha. You had an expression in your face where I was like, it's borderline that this is about a question. I was trying to be quiet about it. Cool. A questioning expression.
It's just my face.
You have a very curious face. Okay, so, with all that in mind, we have our new Meridian game, and I've talked about this before. We even once did a session that worked like this, and we've brought this in a few other times, but this is the thing I've talked about for a while, so I do want to explain how this works. KJ, you actually were not present for the sort of test game we did of this, so you'll probably have the least familiarity, but kind of like, for the most part, just a game, normal game, goes away, but there's a big difference. And chat, everyone, our wonderful viewers, you also can participate in this. This is a story about Meridian. So while this is a TTRPG, while dice are going to dictate a lot of stuff, while the story will sort of unfold naturally, and our wonderful players here are going to be their Fiat team members, they really are more sort of like major supporting characters in this. Meridian is the star of this, but that means that Meridian's choices in many instances are going to be up to us. It's kind of like you're playing like an RPG video game and you have like you have like dialogue choices, and they're sort of branching off trees of that. In the opening scene of this, you will have a few of those. None of your characters will be there, but I will be asking you guys to make some decisions in this opening scene, and you can always throw to chat as well to get their input. Sometimes we have chat vote A/B kind of thing. So that is the idea. That we are sort of playing a game that is a group sort of story. It's a little bit more novelistic, or kind of, focused than TTRPGs are, and yet the three of you are also characters who will have your own goals and stuff, and there will be numerous instances where, you know, you'll be important. I'm sure there will be it'll be funny because it would seem like a conceptual issue of the comic, but actually it will feel the most normal to us. There, you know, there may be an issue of Meridian that, like, Meridian's knocked out or something, and so it's just you guys doing stuff, and then it's like, oh, how weird, even though that'll just feel like a normal session of the game. So, that's the idea. You'll get some choices as to what Meridian can do. You also don't have to choose the binary of it. Like, sometimes you could be like, I'd rather Meridian say something along these lines, you know, and as long as it's not, like, totally breaking the character. Which is a character that you've all sort of noticed and understood, but I hope that as we go through this and you understand, I hope we all start to really understand who Meridian is and where she's coming from and what it is she wants. And then we can sort of try to, like, tell a story together in a very different kind of way that will still feel familiar and fun. So that's kind of the spiel for this game. Does anybody have any questions before we start, either in chat or here as players? You're welcome to throw them out now.
This is going to be the same system and everything that we were using previously.
Yes, we are using the D100 system. I actually should mention that I didn't quite get it to the point that I've made the Meridian sheet public, but I am going to make the Meridian character sheet a public sheet for everyone to see. I'll be managing it for now, and you guys can, but, like, I'm going to ask you to make Meridian's roles, and you can even choose to use Meridian's precious power. So, like, Meridian has 15 power. So you'll be like, I think we should use some of Meridian's power to re-roll that. Or I want to use Meridian's power to do this. Meridian does have 4 resilience, so Meridian has, you know, Meridian can take some hits even with 0 power, which is an important thing. And Meridian also has some powers that she can use to spend. You know, she can spend her power on stuff. A big one is called a power burst, which is where basically that's like the Superman equivalent of like flying the speed of light, you know, lifting an aircraft carrier, like going so far, you know, outside the normal remit of your stuff.
Are we equating the ability to live lifting an aircraft carrier to traveling at the speed of light?
We're not really equating those. I'm just pointing out here. Let me rephrase. I even did put this on there. This is if Meridian needs to knock a moon out of orbit, it's that level of strength or speed of light travel. Yes, exactly. Yeah, clearly those two are not the same. But Superman seems to grunt the same amount in cartoons when doing either. Because, fun fact, that's how they said that some Superman writer said that Superman is always just strong enough to do, just able to do whatever it is. That's Superman's power level. Superman is only just barely faster than the bullet that the criminal fires, or he's just strong enough to throw, you know, Doomsday into the sun or whatever. That's kind of the whole point. I love Superman, guys.
I did. I'm trying to remember where I heard it, but there's something on sort of a similar line. It's like because Superman's so powerful, he's always kind of just tapping into what is the, like, sort of the opposite argument of the character is that he's kind of using the, like, least amount of energy possible of his strength to. So he's basically saving the day with the least amount of effort possible.
Interesting.
Because his power seems to be so limitless at this point.
Yes. Well, and they do also do a lot of fun stuff of Superman, you know, like occasionally we'll be like, I've always had to hold back because the world's made of paper. But against you, Darkseid, I'll hit you as hard as I can and shatter every window in the world. Oh, I like Superman. So, with all that in mind... Oh, and let me double check in chat. Did anybody have questions of... What is the voting procedure? Oh my god, a great... Okay, where is Meridian Prime? That's a joke. We'll get to the voting procedure. So the voting procedure for chat will work different ways. Typically, I will sort of say, like starting now, there will be a, you know, you'll have a little less time because of the time delay, but I'll sort of say, we will tally votes from the next, 30 seconds, and then you guys can vote A or B in chat. But I also think that chat can, the players are welcome and encouraged to sort of look to chat when making their own decisions, about something that Meridian might do. And also, please talk to one another. This is kind of This is like a more sort of communal, different sort of energy game. So yeah, that's how I would say. That's how chat will work. But whenever we're doing a vote in chat, I will say, all right, chat, you have like 30 seconds from here, and I'll count 30 seconds, and whatever, you know, if we have any A's or B's or whatever that have been put into chat, that's what we'll go with. And that's kind of how we did it during the Avner episode of Mystic Starport, a guy named Avner. And of course, Lauren was just romancing said iconic character in a really funny way, without knowing that he was an iconic character. I don't know if Lauren is still here, but Rose, if you are, I hope your evening is going great. So, with that in mind, my friends, this is a Topflight Universe game, which means I do have a prologue vote for you to take. Option 1, the Prime Observatory. Option 2, New Hell.
When in the timeline is this game starting? Has Formation Nation finished?
Right now. The holiday special has happened. Yes. This is spinning out of the events of the holiday special. These are two real tempting ones. I thought I'd do this where it's like they'll both be real fun.
Was New Hell 2?
New Hell is 2. A vote for New Hell. So Dan, it comes to you. And so far I'm seeing in chat, I have 2 votes for New Hell and 1 vote for the Prime Observatory.
Yeah, oh man. I feel like because this is a Meridian game, I'm gonna go with number 1.
Prime Observatory. Great. In the Prime Observatory, a space in a sort of special pocket universe populated by the multitude of Meridians from across the multiverse. Meridians who seem like near variants of our beloved Meridian. And then Meridians who are dinosaurs, or dragons, or rocks, who are more divergent variations, are gathered in the beautiful...
Is there like a Meridian that's like a Pixar lamp?
I don't get the joke. Wait, what's the joke?
No, there's not a joke. I'm just like...
It's just funny.
It's just a thing. Okay, wait, he said that, I was like, that's amusing, and then you laughed. I'm like, oh my god, am I forgetting like a cartoon? I think, would you please... Oh my god, we haven't done this yet. Which one of you would like to roll luck for Meridian? I need someone to roll 3d6. Do it, Dan.
3d6.
3d6, sir.
Sorry, Meridian. That's 7.
7. Oh, 7 is it's 8 is the threshold. Reroll.
Well, that's 11. So.
11. Okay, so 55. So please make a luck roll. Your score is 55. So this will be if Meridian is lucky enough to have.
Nope, 79.
Sorry, Meridian. Sorry, Dan, and sorry, Meridian. There is no Meridian that is that. However, in the multitude of Meridians, the various Meridians there suddenly sort of notice an alert, sort of it's a very calming kind of chime sound that happens, and several Meridians gather to check out what's going on. And sure enough, once again, it is universe 57129E where there may be trouble. The Meridians come together and look at this. Meridians old, young, human, inhuman. Not like Marvel inhuman, like a lowercase inhuman. And as they sort of gather to find out what's going on, one of the Meridians there, she'll say, "It's 57129E again. I suppose that was unavoidable ever since they've sort of shifted their timelines. We really think there's about to be a lot of trouble there, don't we?" Meridian Rock silently says nothing, encouraging the other Meridians to take heart. Even so, this Meridian, who looks very much like our own Meridian, we'll say she's got a little more like Renaissance garby on, but she will sort of turn to another Meridian, one we've never observed before, a figure wearing a hood. And she'll say, many say that you were the original Meridian. What do you think? This Meridian steps forward and puts down the hood, revealing a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man with a very square jaw. The exact kind of thing that you would expect to find in a comic book in the late 1930s when Meridian first debuted. This Meridian will sort of come and look at the readout for a moment and say, I think things are about to get pretty tough there, which means I think things are probably going to get tough here too. But the thing we have to remember is this Meridian, she's going to do the right thing. The other Meridian sort of turns to him and says, even if it destroys her whole universe? And he says, even if it destroys the whole universe. And with that, we cut out of our prologue to a Alpha City rooftop where, and this I think some people will be excited about, two members of Topflight East are having, it is kind of, it's night, the city is twinkling. Alpha City is, of course, a bustling, fun place, so there's a lot of activity going on. It's probably around like 8 or 9 p.m. But two heroes from Topflight have come here for what they're calling a cape date. In a previous issue, having been observed sort of holding hands and almost kissing by some telephoto lenses they weren't aware were there, this pair of heroes has decided that whatever this romance that's going on between them, it probably makes sense for them to kind of keep it in costume for now, even though that's its own headache. So, as Ghost Man is kind of hovering over this rooftop, Meridian lands next to him and somewhat awkwardly kind of looks at him and says, hey, Fernando. And he'll say, hi, Gail. I brought you some flowers. And he produces from within his cloak a bunch of flowers. And she takes them and nearly sniffs them and then says, you didn't take these off a grave, did you? And he says, no, I bought them from a guy selling them near my work. I'm not going to make that mistake and get people flowers off graves before. And Meridian sort of chuckles at that. So yes, what is going on, of course, known to you, Meridian, because you are Meridian, is that Meridian, in an issue of Topflight East, which we haven't gotten to because so much big stuff has been going on in Topflight West between two new hells and the return of the final, and maybe the return of Maisie. Boy, wouldn't it be fun to just be in the Topflight East game where it's like romance, apparently? Anyway, yes, there's kind of a burgeoning romance between Meridian and Ghost Man. Part of this is because both of them are not with their long-time romantic partners. Ghost Man is kind of has a famously on-again, off-again relationship with his co-worker Mallory Romero. And of course, Meridian famously is in love with TJ Turner, but they often kind of, there's often like weird, Tatiana Temple, TJ Turner, you guys are getting that. There's often sort of, complicated, he does know that she's Meridian. He knows that Gale is Meridian, so he kind of, has problems with, he wants a more normal life, but also, respects Meridian and what she does. It's a complicated situation. So, and Ghostman, I see in chat, Ghostman's day job is that he works as an auctioneer. There you go. on that subject, Ghost Man sort of says, yeah, it is a little, I suppose, this is, I suppose this is the better way to do this. Just kind of keep it, in capes for now, Gale. Although some of the people who know who I am have asked a few questions about what's going on. I even had a pretty awkward conversation with Mallory about it. And this, let's see, I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dan, you're gonna get our very first question. It's so important to what would Meridian do.
Mm-hmm.
Should Meridian tell Ghost Man that she actually talked to TJ about this? Because Meridian called TJ and was like, hey, I'm kind of seeing someone, like, you probably saw stuff of it, like, I don't know what's going on, and had like an awkward conversation with TJ Turner about this, her sort of, her lowest lane, basically. Like, do you think she should say that to him right now, or will that, like, is that too weird a mood-ruining thing? So, should she bring up her conversation with TJ, or should she just not even mention it?
I mean, she's an honest, upstanding person.
There you
go. So I think of course she would.
Fair enough. So, as Meridian sort of says, yeah, no, I actually called up TJ and sort of told him, just told him about this, and Ghostman says, I didn't realize we were taking things so seriously. And Meridian goes, I didn't mean that. Sorry. They kind of both nervously chuckle, but there's an awkwardness forming now. In any case, she sort of, opens up a bag of takeout that she got from a nearby Italian restaurant. Ghost Man pulls out a bottle of wine, and they sort of kind of sit atop this, just looking out at the beautiful Alpha City skyline below them. And at this point, Ghost Man says, so listen, Gale, I don't really want to talk about work right now, but I don't know, I feel like I just have to say something about it. I know this is so new, but nobody on the team nobody's gonna get behind this plan of yours. We're there's just too much going on, and I mean, no one's gonna stop you, of course, but I can't even. She goes, really? Not even? She says, I thought maybe you'd sort of wanna, I don't know, if anybody would help with it, it would be you. And he'll say, I understand why, but I'm kind of busy right now, and well, if some of what the other team says is true and Wild Dorado's making a move, that means I've got to really be on alert for him. Meridian nods and is kind of disappointed. And at which point, and I'm going to give the hardest one here to you, I guess, KJ, because Pierce just disappeared.
I'm here.
Okay, well, Pierce, I'm going to give you the hardest.
Okay.
Because you're not going to have context. Because clearly, he has just said, I'm not going to help you with this thing. I have too much going on. The rest of the team aren't. No one's going to stop you, but we can't help. But Meridian is very disappointed that he doesn't want to help. So my question to you is, as Meridian, are you going to hit A and say, I totally understand, you've got to do what's right for you? Or are you going to mash B and say, but can't you reconsider? I could really use your assistance. I need some more firepower, or something like that. You want to hit A or B? And you may ask chat. You can ask your fellow players here. Obviously, you don't know the context, but
right. It's an interesting thing, right? Like, so because I do think that like Meridian is sort of upstanding at all times, right?
Indeed.
But it's a matter of like is upstanding what we're doing is more important than like what is the most important plan, right? And I mean, I know that we've rarely seen Meridian functioning.
True.
Because she was killed in one punch the first time we met her.
Exactly.
But And then she was sequestered away on an island because she turned into a sun.
Yeah. Oh, and she is glowing now, but it's like very, she's really, yeah.
I think, and if either of you have strong objections, I think B.
You think she'll sort of push a little bit?
Yeah, I think that if she's starting off on some new venture like this, that she even asked the team in the beginning, she probably wants some backup.
Understood. I love it. All right, so Meridian will sort of say, I also would rather just kind of sit with you, and I don't want to talk about work tonight, but I just gotta ask, is there any chance that just you could help? There's so much you could do, and I really trust your judgment, Nando. I think I just think you're so smart and capable, and I just, and he'll say, once again, the mood is sort of lowering between them. This romantic little fun moment they had is kind of turning a little icier. He'll say, Gail, I'm kind of using being busy as an excuse. I also don't think you should do this. This seems dangerous. Okay. I'm sorry. I really, I mean, I'm happy to talk to you about it more, but I can't in good conscience. She goes, no, it's okay. Let's just eat. And so they start eating. Being a pair of charismatic, incredibly attractive, and I mean because they're comic book characters, like so hot. These people are so hot, it's like absurd. They, they're able to kind of get over this awkwardness. But there is not a sort of flirtatious energy now. It is a, and it's two people who've known each other for years and really care about each other, but there's clearly, if they think they have baggage with Mallory and TJ, they also have a lot of baggage with each other, and it's ever-growing baggage, and especially because there's this schism with Meridian and this team. The date is pleasant, but at the end, it's a little, they pack up their food, and Ghost Ben says, I'm really glad we were able to do this. Gail, we should do it again soon, right? And she says, yeah, absolutely. And as they both sort of now hover stand there, Meridian, after, very quickly and carefully packing up all the trash and sorting into the right recycling versus compost versus, and anything that's trash, she'll just she'll just punch so much that it just turns into atoms. So that you don't fill up a landfill. But as the two of them just kind of hover there for a moment, Meridian kind of isn't sure about the vibe. And with her empathy power, she can feel that Ghost Man is conflicted. There's a part of him that would love to just not be worried about everything else, and just that he would just want to kiss her goodnight and kind of, let them go off and have the promise of another time. There's also a part of him that's she can sense some hesitation on his part. So, KJ, for you to make the final choice of A, B here, in this game in which there's a character romancing someone, my least favorite verb, in video gaming.
No one made you say it.
Well, I know, but it clearly is what's going on. It's weird, though, that this scene is opening here. Do you think that Meridian would, sensing that he wants to kiss her but also is oh, but this is complicated, do you think Meridian would lean in for a kiss? Or would she just kind of give him an awkward well, good date, buddy, and fly away? And if you'd like to use a different option there, you may. Also, I'm going to, for the first time, allow you, if you'd like to, you could spend some of her power to probe more deeply with her empathy powers to try to determine what's going on. Or you could even make a roll on her behalf, not using power, just to try to read the situation better. But that is what you get for free, just from her empathy. That she's kind of oh boy, this guy's conflicted.
So he's not leaning in?
he's like wavering. He's like letting the wind sort of lead him in, but he's not leaning into. It's like he'll certainly kiss her back if she kisses him, but he doesn't feel like he should initiate a kiss. And he feels kind of like, oh boy, maybe this is bad, because boy, she really is mad that no one's helping her.
No kiss.
No kiss, understood. So, I'll tell you what, roll me a D100.
Nothing short of enthusiastic consent. Fuck that.
Fair enough. Roll me a D100, and I'm just going to have you roll. This is a charm. She has a 92 in charm, but you will need a 46 or lower to succeed at this, because this is an awkward situation. So you'll need a 46 or lower, and if you succeed, I will check the box for charm, and she'll maybe, what do we got?
32.
32. I checked the box for charm. So she manages to, like, give him a hug that is not awkward. She manages to be like, all right, well, it was really good to see you. And he hugs her back, and clearly, you know, there's an energy there, and he even kind of gives her like, you know, like a kiss on the cheek, and she sort of returns it, but they don't smooch for real. And things seem not as awkward, but there is a part of Meridian where like she was probably really looking forward to this date, and this is kind of instead, it's like then instead everyone started talking politics kind of vibe, you know, not the most fun. But he sort of pulls back and says, all right, well, Meridian, good luck, whatever happens. And she'll say, thanks. And he'll say, I don't want you to feel alone. She says, well, the thing is, I'm not totally alone. There's, you know, you're the team I would want to work with, but there's actually a few people who, you know, we're technically on a payroll, so I'll get some support one way or another. And she kind of chuckles. You know, she's not really going to exploit anyone, but as she says, there are some people she can turn to. Smash cut to Fiat Operating Base, where Rena, Michael, Billy, and because, well, let's see, Steel Trap is not around, so I think he can just be, I think he can be Zeb right now. But basically, we will say that Rena and Michael, and Billy and Zeb, you guys are currently in the middle of a rather complicated situation. Rena, would you give me a luck roll? So luck is, of course, over your sort of knowledge purple thing. You're just trying to roll under a 78.
20. Sorry, nope. 36.
36. A 36 is a hard success at luck. So the good news, Rena, is do you want this... I'm actually just going to let you, KJ, pick. Do you want this complicated situation to be combat-based, or do you want it to be clerical?
I think Rena would do better if it's clerical.
Perfect. Then you guys are in the midst of so like we cut and it's like action music, and all three, you know, where there's close-ups of you guys looking tense. And Rena, it's finally time. Can you collate the mainframe? Please roll and analyze.
Ooh, 14.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is that does that get you to an extreme?
Yeah.
With an extreme success, Rena begins, and we cut back, and Michael is just watching, and Michael, basically, she is reformatting a large, like, data set.
Careful, easy.
I love it. Tell you what, Michael, just so that you can roll some dice as well on this character, give me a, I don't think this is your main forte, but just oh no, you're an 80. Give me give me like a charm persuade. That could be sort of, that's the closest to encourage, I think.
What the heck?
They bounced
I had my D10s out. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
Wow. Yeah, that's a 89, which is still a success, baby.
So basically, in his typical gruff demeanor, maybe we'll say that Rena is used to Michael. So the way that Michael is like intensely like telling her like easy, easy, she takes it as encouragement and not as criticism. Billy, so we have cut from Meridian basically saying, well, there's some people who sort of have to help me, haha. And Rena is in the midst of some high pressure, you know, like mainframe defragging, recollating data. And Michael is giving her encouragement. Is there anything that you would like Billy to do in this moment? This is kind of just like a free roll on a skill, so you know.
Oh, sure. Let me. I forget what exactly.
What old Billy's up to? Yeah.
Yeah, I think perhaps I'll just not in like a peeking over shoulder kind of way, but just in sort of like a looking just sort of like looking for maybe like back doors or something, like an analyze roll.
She already did analyze. Could you do calculate instead?
Yeah, I can do that.
Perfect. Oh yeah, same for you. Great.
Yeah. Well, that's annoying, but 41.
Oh, I see why it's annoying. It's not annoying that you failed.
Mean.
It's annoying that you just. So basically, Billy is feeding you more data, and he's doing a perfectly fine job. Rena has scored while you were gone an extreme success at this,
okay.
And of course, Michael did a just barely under.
So that would mean so I'm just following Rena's instruction. She said, "Get me this data." I'm getting her that data.
Perfect. So as you guys finish the spreadsheeting, Rena, you type in the last entry, and sure enough, the data collation and mainframe revamp is complete, and not a moment too soon, because Zeb sticks his head in and says, hey team, so apparently Meridian is on her way here and she wants to talk to us.
Right, do we know what about?
We do not. So I'm actually going to, great question, Michael. I'm going to turn that question around on you. Do we know what she wants? Because I know we all were like, she was chatting about like reaching out to us in the future, like hypothetically. Like, did anybody talk to her about?
I made sure we didn't leave a mess behind. I cleaned up everything that I touched. There was no trash. I cleaned up everything that was fiat based.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, I trust that you did that. But
I don't think Meridian's the scolding type.
That's true. She's not. No, that's more Steel Trap's job. And honestly, it's why, like, I'm definitely gay. But there is something about Steel Trap where it makes me, like, if I had to, this is not an HR-friendly conversation. I'm sorry. I'm just speaking. I'm just very nervous right now.
But what we've already worked several times with Meridian.
Yeah, but this,
right?
but that's just when, here's Meridian. Meridian has specifically requested us, and she's coming to this fiat base because this is where we are.
Well, possibly we just did an exceptional job handling the V situation. With the sort of, despite all of our resistance, the brilliance of Rena summoning the Shergoth.
Mm-hmm. No, the Shergoth worked out incredibly well.
If this is like her cubicle space or whatever, there is a framed photo of Rena doing this, but there's nothing there. See, it's just a huge blue sky. But she knows in her heart it's there.
It's invisible. You can almost see like a shadow of like space warping
outline, yeah.
Kind of, sort of, or it's just some clouds. In any case, Zeb says, well, let's put on our, actually, no, you all look great. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm just freaking out a little bit. Meridian makes me nervous.
I couldn't imagine
also
why.
makes you nervous.
Well, everyone makes me nervous, of course. All the, powerful women are great, and I adore them, but I'm also terrified of them. Also, other people make me nervous too. Good-looking guys. Ugly guys, in a different way. My mother, she kind of goes in the first category.
If that is true, and forgive me for speaking out of turn here, how did you become the agent in charge?
I think it's because I'm really good in the room.
So how far were you from the Shergoth? Because this all should have been settled.
Well, no, the Shergoth wasn't there for our brains. Yes, I got a little, like, did I feel a little bit better about some of my past relationships and some of my more toxic traits after interfacing with the Shergoth? Absolutely. But it didn't, like, fix us. It just, you know, like, it was there for the formations. Michael, are you okay with this? You haven't said anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God, it's like getting words out of a thing that doesn't talk. I can't even think of a great metaphor right now. And he just sort of walks out. But Meridian will be here in a few moments. If any of you would like to do anything beforehand, otherwise we'll just cut to a conference room.
Could I attempt once again to invite Rena and Michael to play a game of I forget what we call it in this universe, of Science the Congregation. I've brought several decks. They're quick. Like
Precons?
like yeah.
Some precons.
It's easy to pick up, Michael.
Got a Copernicus precon? Yeah, it's a good one.
Like, I really think you would like an Archimedes deck. I really do.
God.
Look, it seems like a fun game. We're on the clock right now.
The Niels Bohr deck is a real, like, it's a bad matchup with Archimedes, I'll tell you that. So, as we will now cut to a conference room where presumably you guys have various, you know, like, snacks, cookies, coffee urn laid out. And it is just the four of you sitting there, Zeb kind of awkwardly, Rena, Billy, and Michael, to whatever degree of awkwardness you'd like. Rena, you of course have your pad. But you do hear a, like, you know, kind of whooshing sonic boom overhead.
Data pad.
Yeah, like you're...
I'm not just walking around with a bunch of Mincy products, like data pad.
What did I say?
You just said pad.
Oh, well, that's what I'm...
No, it's a data pad.
It is, well, they call it that a lot in both Star Wars and Star Trek. I do apologize. They're just like, grab the pad.
They say pad? They just say
They
pad?
do. I'm sorry, yes.
It's data pad.
Fair enough. You have your data pad, you have your tablet. Your Menzies tablet. And
No, that's a different tablet. It's an app. I don't need a whole tablet for it.
It is still made by Always, though.
That is true. It's a tablet with wings. So as you guys are sort of waiting, there's a sound outside, and soon Meridian walks in, and she's kind of slightly glowing. She literally brightens up every room, and will say, "Oh, it's so good to see you all. Thank you for meeting me. I hope I'm not taking you away from any other assignments."
No, it doesn't seem to be that way, Meridian. I mean, the agent in charge did sort of say that you wanted us to speak with us, and you are the highest ranking member we ever talked to in the organizations.
Everyone on Topflight's the same rank. It's not, you know.
Well, we haven't talked to any of them.
Well, oh, that's fair. Well, you talked to V. She was on Topflight, but I know that she's no longer on Topflight, and I checked in on Null Island earlier today, although I think they are going to start calling it Formation Nation. Things there seem interesting. Oh, and guess what? One of the formations has apparently taken a job at Topflight West on Top Beach.
Oh, well, that must be nice for them.
Yeah, she'll
have a familiar face back.
Her name is Olive, and she's already been promoted or taken the job of events coordinator, which nobody else on that team wanted. So,
well, it seems like a natural fit for her.
Indeed.
I'm sure that there was a frictionless reintegration for them.
Well, Meridian's too nice to say anything. She'll just
say,
oh,
how is the Les Mis production going?
You know what? I've just been too busy. I haven't had to, managed to check it out yet. So before we begin, Zeb, and she'll kind of turn to Zeb and say, I think that you may have a new, sort of like an updated clearance form for everyone here. I just was talking to Graves about this. Is it Graves? Oh my god, did I forget her name? It's Graves, right?
That sounds right.
Hold on, I gotta look it up.
I'm
almost
right.
positive it's Graves. No, Gallows. Director Gallows. So she'll say she was just talking to Gallows. And if you'll see, you guys, you'll have to go ahead and authorize. And Zeb looks at his data pad, sorry, and will say, oh, yes, oh. Wait. Oh, okay. Okay. He puts his thumb on the thing and acknowledges, and then he starts handing the pad to you. Michael, you see it first. This pad is giving you limited infinity clearance.
I'll authorize and then pass it to Rena, and then while I'm doing this, what is this? Well, I assume you'll tell us what this for once we've all authorized.
I do. I want to make sure things go by the book on this, because I have requested some Fiat agents for assistance with a special project. And I have a lot of latitude to do that, and so Director Gallows has authorized this. But I wanted your team, because I just think we have a good fit, and I know this is some very top secret information that, but you guys, one, already know some of it, and two, you know, sometimes you have to hear top secret things. So Rena, you know that infinity clearance is the highest possible level. It's something that only Topflight has, and Director Gallows, and a few other high-placed people. Typically, there are, you know, like, it'll be, like, infinity clearance on these files. There's very few people who just have general infinity clearance. Not you either, but you are being given infinity clearance on a file. The file name is Temple Flight.
Rena she'll press whatever she needs to press while taking note of everything around her so she can remember this moment exactly, and then pass the tablet over.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Billy, you also are given access to an infinity clearance.
Yeah, I will sign in and hand it back to Meridian.
She'll say, all right, so, you already know from V something that you were all asked to sort of keep quiet and has been retroactively actually been made a part of this. On Christmas Eve, I actually arrived too late for something with some members of Topflight West. And Synth Devil, who is someone who I've never been that comfortable with, basically said he had to come clean to me about some things. So, what you'll all learn about here as you look through this Temple Flight is that, Topflight West, not their fault, well, only one of their fault, were involved with a timeline alteration that was pretty substantial. I think you know about a side of it that involves a haunted doll called Maisie, some problems with V having unleashed this, and you guys know about this doll, right? V told you about this. This
yes,
doll, and now she's no longer exists in our world, and of course now Topflight West is worried that she did, because remember when you sent me after that one plane, but they were already gone and I couldn't find them. So yeah, basically.
Yes, V did graciously clue us in on that.
So that wasn't the whole story. Topflight West, at the time, had started from a completely different timeline where we were all killed. Topflight East, the teams, you know, because in as far as I could remember, Topflight West and East, we were all one team, and then we sort of split up to cover different things, and so apparently the members of Topflight, in this timeline that they came from, the members of Topflight West, they were just kind of just backup individuals who got brought in to become Topflight when we were all killed, fighting something called the Final, which is a god of endings. And it's a god of endings created by three people, three villains. Wildorado. All of you are very familiar with Wildorado.
Mm-hmm.
Narthex. Familiar with Narthex. Space invader. Tried to take over the Earth a couple times. The last name, however, is one that you might have heard, but not in a while. The name is Tatiana Temple. And I will say that, Michael, you probably have more occasion to be like, right, oh yeah, she was like a
she's like a minor person.
She was like a person from the 80s.
Well, I guess like I would assume that like she's not on this, like as far as I know, she's nowhere near the same level of like bad as
Not on the same
Narthex
level
or
as those.
Wild Rudder.
Right. And
It's out of her league.
and she'll say, right. Because as far as, I mean, I even vaguely remember her when I was like a kid, and there was this woman, Tatiana Temple, and she was sort of she was working with criminals, but she was just, and apparently she had some connection to Helena Prescott, who owned that doll even. So there's a lot of connections here. The point is,
I know Meridian is explaining it, but is there also like files that I can be like looking through while she's
yes, as this is happening, you guys are like clicking through some files on stuff for sure.
And are there photos in the files?
Absolutely, yeah. There's like it's such a visual medium. There's a boom photo of Narthex.
But I mean, of the previous timeline.
No photos of the previous timeline. No photos of the previous timeline exist. But pictures of like Tatiana Temple from when she disappeared in 1985, etc. And Meridian says, so in any case, we were all killed. They then wound up. Synth Devil had wound up. You know, Synth Devil is a devil. And I've said this to them many times. And as of now, Synth Devil has still not been removed from being on Topflight, even though there is now a war between two different hells going on. And I'm just... And she sort of pauses and bows her head. Kind of, you know.
I forgive me, Meridian. I'm not privy to all the information, I think, about Synth Devil. Is he a resident of either of those hells?
No, Synth Devil is a devil who, and I have used my empathy on Synth Devil, and I recognize that Synth Devil is not evil. Synth Devil is not evil. I can feel that, and yet I still don't trust him, and I after what he just told me, I have even more reason not to. Synth Devil is the reason that these timelines changed. Synth Devil had problems with something. Now, it does seem that possibly some bad individual changed the timeline first, and Synth Devil was trying to change it back. Synth Devil created this timeline, this Topflight timeline, in which the villains were in charge of Flight Infinity, and it was a dystopian disaster, and these heroes fought their way through it and managed to sort of get to the astral plane and go back and alter things in 1985 and well, alter things across time. The point is they were able to reset a timeline to something that Synth Devil said was closer to truth. But I pressed Synth Devil on this, because Synth Devil said everything's normal now and the bad people aren't here. But I pressed him. And Synth Devil said that there are still some changes from how things were. Now, I'm of course not saying, look, in this business, times change, things are different. You've heard about the sliding scale, right? You ever heard the sliding scale theory? The 10 years?
No.
I guess you haven't. All right, this probably isn't part of this, but there's a theory that time works in a 10-year sliding scale, that all the heroes have really just existed for sort of, like, there are timelines in which we came at any time and have been operating for 10 years. So there is a version of us all in the 1940s. You know, there's a version of us in the 70s, and that, oh, wow, this is the 70s, and some started at different times. The point is, there's a version...
Some weird string theory,
Precisely, that time sort of slides along, and in our timeline, things slide. The point is... This Tatiana Temple, in the real timeline, who you've barely heard of, never heard of, she is supposed to be my arch enemy. She is supposed to be a villain. They call her the Cleopatra of crime.
It's a catchy title.
And because Synth Devil had problems with her use of magic, her use of the power Eldritch. You know, Whisper is Captain Eldritch. Well, apparently Whisper wasn't Captain Eldritch in any of these other times. That's a change. Whisper was never supposed to be a Captain Eldritch, even according to Synth Devil. He said she was a better choice, and he said that he is here to guard the power Eldritch, so he changed things, and she's wound up with it. But there used to be other people who had it. Tatiana Temple had it in this Topflight world, and before that there was a guy named Dustin Howell who had it.
I immediately Google that name. Or put it into our database.
I believe, and I know we were talking about this last time, I think that Dustin Howell just doesn't exist in this timeline because he was born after 1985.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no Dustin Howell here because he got yanked into a different thing. So he doesn't exist. No, I mean, there's probably hits, but it's not a thing. So she'll say, all right.
Did you mean Howl's Moving Castle?
Yeah. Here's the thing. She's like, I don't watch many movies, I'm sorry. But she'll sort of say, so the point is, I've been praying on this, and I need help with this. So I'm asking you to sort of join this team and help me with this, because there is a mission. I have a mission that I haven't had a mission like this in a long time. Usually my mission is just to do good, but right now I just, since Christmas, it's supposed to be a time of celebration and a time of faith and love and family, but this has just been weighing on me, and I've been praying, and this is something I have to do. This woman, Tatiana Temple, is trapped somewhere, and I have to save her.
I mean, if she's so evil, she summoned a god of finality and endings. Isn't she better off wherever she is?
And creating a whole evil timeline.
It's easy to save good people, but we have.
Won't we be saving her just to put her into a different prison?
I have faith that we won't. And I'm not saying we're going to be stupid about it, but this woman has been pulled out of time and trapped in the astral plane. And the way that Synth Devil explained, she's not just in the astral plane. She is in some hidden thing deep within it, something that you can't get out of. And that this boy Dustin Howell is there too. He doesn't even exist. All because Synth Devil didn't like what he did with magic. And I am not someone who doesn't think there's not consequences to actions. I'm not someone who, clearly villains need to be dealt with. But what I'm saying is this woman hasn't done these things. She didn't have a chance. She didn't have a chance to do good. She didn't have a chance to do better. I didn't have a chance to reach her. We didn't have a chance to. It's not set in stone, and I can't leave her there. I don't know her. I've been told that if anything, she'll hate me and that we're going to be enemies, but I've just been praying on this, and I can't leave her there.
Well, does Minority Report exist in this world?
The movie?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, something very similar exists. The concept certainly exists, yeah.
I mean, we don't. Yeah, Fiat doesn't operate based on precognition.
Yeah, it's not a It's. I understand that she's evil. I understand that this version of her did things that are bad. But what Synth Devil has told me is that yes, it is a version of her who has committed crimes and who has done stuff. But she's like right now she's a little younger than me.
Well, and regardless of her, it sounds like there's also a man, or even a boy at this point in time, trapped there that wasn't a villain and isn't even a hero now, but just an innocent trapped there as well.
Exactly. See, this isn't, and look, I've talked to my team.
That does complicate it.
And my team, Topflight, I mean, no one's telling me not to. Well, some of them are telling me not to, but they're not saying. But they're not going to help me with this. They said I'm on my... Well, okay, one of them was actually real. I'm not trying to cause gossip or anything, but Shinobi had some words for me. Shinobi thinks this is... Shinobi's the only person who said, you cannot do this, don't. And Shinobi may try to stop us somehow, but It's easy. It's easy to help nice people. It's easy to help good people. It's easy to help people who are right there. But this person, I know it's not my fault, but I know that, especially with your help, I know that if we put our minds to this, we can save her. We can save this woman. And maybe, if we save her, maybe she isn't bad. If you treat people like they're not criminals, maybe they don't act like criminals. Maybe she becomes the Cleopatra of cool.
Well, you know, I have always believed more in rehabilitation than recidivism, so, Also, wait, I'm sorry. I think I'm starting to just sort of process this, Meridian. Is what you're asking for us to go there?
Well,
go to the astral plane?
not exactly. There's... Well, we have some options, but also, I mean, listen, Rena, you figured out the Shergoth. That was some, that was what we call just divine spark. That was a lateral thinking. That's the kind of creative thought that we need. And there may be ways to do this, and so I want your help. What you did for V in those formations was incredible, so I want your help to do this. I think that there are different ways. I even have some help from other places that we could reach to, and I just really feel that together this is something we can do. And like I said, I know that it might be bad, and she might be bad, but the fact that we tried, the fact that we do it, that's what matters. And maybe to other people, even if we don't save her, maybe, like you said, this young man, maybe he doesn't have to turn out bad. There might be hope. That's all I'm saying. So that's the mission. Find someone on a distant place lost. Against all the odds, and even that it might not work out, but I have to try.
So what are our options?
Well, if you're agreeing to the mission, there's a few things we can try. We can try to reach some. Well, we actually have sort of three different paths to this. There's a scientific path, which is that we sort of there are some spacecraft that can take us to places in the galaxy where the boundaries between the physical and the metaphysical worlds are weaker. We can go on a cosmic odyssey. And you don't have to come with me the whole way. I want to be clear about that. I'm not asking you to sort of leave the bounds of reality and enter these realms of pure thought. No, that I'm not asking you to do that. But you'll help me get there. You'll help me analyze things. You'll help me find the guides I need. So we can take a scientific approach, or we can take a more magical approach, which is that we attempt to use some of the magic that we have, and I don't know, maybe Whisper or the Guild of Secrets. I know they don't always like me, and I know I've had some problems with them, but maybe they'd be amenable to this, knowing what I'm trying to do. Or there's another option, which is a bit stranger, but I could take you to the Prime Observatory, where the other Meridians are, and there might be a path from there. Or, like I said, Rena might come up with some ideas that no one's ever thought of. The point is, there's a lot of paths forward, and a lot of considerations, and a lot of things to think about. And honestly, I do want people with me, because I do want people to keep me honest. If I don't want to be so blinded on this quest that I do something dangerous. I understand that this is a dangerous person we're talking about. So that's also why I want help. But at the end of the day, I just can't leave her there. I'm having trouble sleeping thinking about it.
Well, I'm happy to do research and see what I can find. Doing magical stuff probably is the most efficient way, but I'll be honest, I'm feeling a little selfish, and I would just like to go up into space. That sounds really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sort of there with you, Rena. I was gonna say, you said you wouldn't ask us to go to the astral plane with you, but what if we wanted to go to the astral plane with you?
If you're listen, if you're riding, you can ride on to wherever we go. There's places where things could be dangerous, but I mean it is an adventure.
I mean, I've never left my home plane before, so
it's something else.
That's intriguing. I'm on board.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm down for. I think the best course of action is whichever one seems to be the most effective, based on what we know. So I'm inclined to go with the scientific route because that's something that I can trust a good deal more.
You can trust it. Sort of. I'll say that the scientific route. I'm pretty comfortable in space, and that does make sense to me. It's. I like it. The closer we are to stars, in between the stars, it's space is interesting because it's because there's no noon there. It's all you're all out in. The starlight, the light of the high noon sun. It's kind of always noon, but it's also always midnight. My powers have an interesting reaction to it. That's all. Space makes a lot of sense, and there are things we could do to trust it. On the other hand, I believe the way they got there was magic, so it's possible that the most effective would be magic. But I do think some looking into things, some research is definitely the next step. If
I suppose we could sort of take a little bit of a dual-pronged approach, right? Where if our methods want to be science because that is something that is comfortable for us, we can try to look into whatever magical methods they supposedly used and see if there's an equivalent or something that our science could also draw from. So maybe some research into magic, but experimentation in science.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you. Thank you all. I appreciate your help on this. Please just ask me any questions you have. I don't really know what we're gonna find out, but it's gonna be an adventure.
That's for sure.
I guess I just have to ask a quick question before. Are you prepared to leave her there if that seems like it's the right thing to do? Once you meet her?
Meridian sort of pauses and looks out. I'm gonna write down what you just said. Are you prepared to leave? Meridian thinks about this for a moment. All right. Let's have a vote on this one then. I'm gonna ask chat. Here are your choices, chat. A. Say, I don't know. B. Say sort of what it is you want to say. Say what is truly in your heart, which is to say, no, it won't come to that. We'll figure out a way. C. Say, I'm not going to leave her there alone. Oh dear. Oh wow.
You may want to take a second to.
We have a huge raid coming in. There could be a lot of people voting, or a lot of people.
So
voting,
many
like,
votes.
What is happening? Hello, raid. My name is Philip, and I'm the publisher, which is what we call the game master of this superhero game, Topflight Tales. Our current game, we are at a sort of an interesting situation where this is a game that's kind of has like an NPC who is shared amongst, kind of like a lead character NPC shared amongst players and members of chat who can vote on what they do. And so this is we're kind of you've come at us at an interesting time because we were about to do a vote for something that character might say or do here. The sort of setting of this, which my players have not had the time to decompress with yet, is that this superheroic superhero has decided that she wants to rescue an arch-villain from another timeline who was supposed to be her main arch-villain, because she can't leave her trapped in an astral world and just thinks that even though it's dangerous, she just has to try to save this person. So that's kind of the sort of intense, awkward situation here. One of the characters that basically, Rena, am I correct that Rena did agree to this? Rena as a character is in for this mission?
Rena as a character is in, yes.
KJ as a person hates Philip more than anything?
No, my question is, why do you hate me and Dan?
Well,
because lately things are feeling a little targeted.
No, it's not targeted.
And,
Isn't it? But but what this is it's drama. It's interesting because this character is doing a thing that your other characters do not do. And wouldn't it be fun if there's an issue of Meridian where you guys get to come in as Top Flight West to fight her to prevent her from doing this? Because that's a real superhero thing. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So, in any case, I'm sorry that everyone thinks I hate them, but it's also because I just like.
I don't think that.
I don't think it. I know it.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome, Raiders. So basically, appreciate you guys hopping in here. We basically have a sort of question here, which is that Meridian, the superhero, she has pleaded her case. She's kind of the Superman of this universe. She's pleaded her case and said, I want to go save this person. I want to rescue her. And Billy asked her, are you willing to leave her where she is? If you get there and decide she's too evil, we have to not rescue her. And so Meridian is sort of being given a choice of answers here. And this is a little weird because this is kind of not even Meridian choosing an action. This is kind of what she's going to say to these people, how honest she's going to be. And because she doesn't know her own feelings, I'm going to let chat vote for this. So I'm going to give you some options, then I'm going to set a timer. You can put A, B, C, or D into chat. Imagine you're playing like a BioWare game and they have is a BioWare game. It's like you're playing like a game where there's dialogue choices and you'll get to or push X to doubt or whatever that one's from.
Imagine you're playing Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I was gonna say Baldur's Gate 3 would be the
timely reference.
Flavor of the month.
There you go.
Yeah.
So basically your option your dialogue choices are to say I don't know, are to say it won't come to that, are to say I won't leave her there alone, or we'll say that option D, do they ever do things where in parentheses it's deceive or lie or something like that?
Yeah.
So basically would be to say yes, but in parentheses you think that's a deception. Meridian doesn't actually think that. She's just saying that because she knows they should. So the choices would basically be I don't know, no, I won't leave her there alone, basically implying Meridian's then I'll stay with her in purgatory if I have to, or that. So 30 seconds from right now, I will, so basically chat, you have a little less than 30 seconds because of the timeline, so you can put answers A, B, C, or D to that, as we just do an NPC.
So I'll ask a thing here a rules thing
waiting.
Here while we
Please,
have
yeah.
this. So since we know that one of these options is going to be a deception, we as players know that.
Yeah.
I would just ask that, would our passives read person kind of factor into that?
We might, Meridian will have to roll a deceive against our passives in that case, yes.
Okay.
But, and wouldn't you know it, we have, that's a little over 30 seconds, and we have a tie between A, B, and C. So we're removing D, and I'm going to ask you, the players, as a group, please choose. Are we doing A, B, or C? Will Meridian say the most honest thing, which is I don't know? Actually, that's probably not the most in Meridian's heart, I think she really thinks the truest thing is B. But A is the most literally true, because she doesn't know what she'd do. And C is sort of doubling down in a different way. What do you guys think? A, B, or C? What does Meridian say to Billy's brilliant question?
I say B, I guess.
I say B as well.
I would say A, but I think
it won't come to that. Honestly, though, that is such a superhero thing of just nope, it'll all work out. So she's just Meridian does sort of stick to herself, even though on some level she knows it's not the most likely, and she says, so basically, Billy, you ask her, are you prepared to leave her there? And she says, and she smiles and she's glowing and she's, the way Meridian always is, and she says, it won't come to that. This is the right thing to do. Well, I think that there's some places we can start. Do you just want to do some general research here yourselves? I can maybe see if I can chat with members of the Guild of Secrets or other places like that if you'd want. Or if you're more interested in pursuing a science situation, I can contact Team tomorrow and maybe we could borrow the flying saucer. Topflight West has a flying saucer. I don't know if they're willing to let us borrow it, but it's a pretty good way to travel.
Would have already been researching things for that conversation.
Perfect. Okay.
I mean, there's no harm in looking into researching all our options so that we have multiple things on the table should one of them fail.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
If maybe a more outlandish request, would it be possible to talk to Synth Devil? I think I would like to ask him a few specific questions.
Meridian, she's not frowning at you, but there's just clearly this, Meridian says, I can understand that, if you think there's anything he could know that could help, I'd want you to be very careful about tipping our hand, because he will not want us to do this, and I don't know what he'll tell Topflight West. This is not a mission he'll approve of.
I would just sort of want to gather some background information on these alternate timelines.
I understand. Well, if you can conceive of a way of doing it without tipping him off, then I'd be all right with it. But just be very careful, because, and she kind of doesn't get super close, but she kind of just really shining the thing. She just looks at you and says, because Billy, he is literally a devil.
Yeah, it's in it. I understand.
Okay.
And Billy, I will say that when someone professes to only want to help as much as Synth Devil does, it does raise suspicions.
I am sure he wants to help, all right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not, all I want to do is ask, Synth Devil's the only person around that has a memory of what exactly happened.
Well, no. V has the memory. Lumen has the memory. Teleportia has the memory. I do sort of see what you're saying. Whisper has the memory, but now, yeah, there's Armament's gone, and Findon is Beowulf. So yeah, there are some people with a memory. You could talk to Lumen or to Teleportia or to Whisper, and yes, you could talk to Synth Devil. But all I'm saying is be very careful.
The new guy doesn't know?
Well, I haven't talked to Archetype too much, but he wasn't there. But it seems like he might know for other reasons. He's not from our world either.
Right.
Well, given the current state of Topflight West and its configuration, Lumen would be the ranking member, yes?
We try not to have ranks once you're on a top flight, but oh dear. Oh boy. God bless. Lumen is a very, very, very noble and good person. Lumen's understanding of situations is not, Lumen's not from here, so there are times that Lumen's perspective doesn't necessarily align with, you might, but Teleportia. I mean, if she ever shows up.
So if I'm to understand this,
Mm-hmm.
The people I can talk to about this that have recollection about it are eyewitnesses of this event that we're trying to understand. our Lumen who doesn't necessarily understand the situation from a human perspective.
I think that is a fair way to put it. She's very insightful.
A person whose psyche was shattered into 10,000 different pieces.
I do think that maybe V is not the person to talk to. Yes, that's correct.
A sorcerer who, if we are attempting to undo the thing that gave them their power, possibly.
I do wonder about that side of it, yes. And Whisper, it has been made clear to me that in these other timelines, Whisper was more explicitly a criminal herself. So, but again, she's a criminal. I'm okay with. I trust her now. She's not a devil. That's all I'm saying.
And someone who I'll just be waiting for. But other than that, seems
only
fine.
About,
if I could ever actually,
she's only about 5 minutes away, but yeah.
And lastly, a literal devil. These are the options to talk to.
Yes.
But isn't Synth Devil the archivist? Isn't he the archivist for them?
Yes, and the mastermind of this whole thing.
Does seem the best candidate then to have the information. The most accurate information, anyway.
Just like the devil. To make himself the most attractive option. Whew.
Well, if there's a way to secure a meeting with Teleportia, that would be my first option. Secondarily, it seems like Synth Devil is probably the person to talk to. I just want to make sure I wasn't crossing any boundaries by not talking to a member of a team without.
The idea that Teleportia is lumped into the group of not a great option just for the sole reason that she's consistently late when all these other people are just like.
Oh no, it's not that she's like bad. It's that I just don't know that I'll ever actually get to talk to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That she's in that same group of like, I don't know, just because she's consistently late is hilarious.
Yeah. And I don't know.
Well,
Meridian values timeliness.
Well, also, what is, if you've been in a meeting or been in something that you had to wait to start, and someone walks in with a Starbucks cup in their hand and they're 10 minutes late, the amount of, just rage that you instantly have to suppress is not insignificant.
She'll bring so many sandwiches.
That's a certain kind of evil.
Meridian will also kind of say... Actually, Meridian probably wouldn't say, but boy, would it be funny if Meridian was like, well, you could talk to Archetype. I fear that based on what limited interactions I've seen, that would, Lumen would kill you.
Also, I mean, he's the most junior member of the team, right?
Well, again, they don't really,
They don't do ranks.
He is probationary.
No, but I don't mean that as a rank. I mean, he's literally, he's only been there for a few weeks.
Oh.
Beowulf's been on the team longer.
Well, all right. Well, I think look into all of that, and we'll see if there's some conversations you can have, and we'll do what research we can have. And I appreciate your help on this. Remember, this is highly confidential stuff, and especially two members of Topflight West, and the other members of Topflight know that I want to do this. I've asked them, and they've all said they won't help me, and I understand why they won't. Every single one. Shinobi, like I said, was the maddest, but...
Oh, so Topflight West has no idea.
Topflight West doesn't know about this, and we can't.
Oh, well then...
to tell them. That's
then absolutely. I feel like absolutely the only person we can talk to then is Synth Devil.
But Synth Devil will know why you're asking. That's my concern.
Yeah, that would any interaction with them would tip her hand.
That's what if you can listen. I trust you. You did amazing things on Null Island with the Formation Nation. So if you think there's a way to talk to Synth Devil without him realizing why you're talking to him, but I mean, he's gonna know that I came here and that now you have infinity clearance on Temple Flight.
Rena, can I ask you to do something that might be slightly illicit, but
yes.
Given could you get into their database without them knowing? Synth Devil must have records of this, even if it's not on the books.
So the file the file that you have is his records, but they could be redacted. Like there could be stuff missing from this. Like you basically have his like private diaries, the same stuff Wildorado read about.
I see. Okay.
Oh, then yeah, let's look through that first.
But so Rena, I'll tell you what, Rena, would you, in response to this, actually, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, then I would actually look at the files for the first time, and I would have just said, "My God, there's no punctuation. Did he type these all on a cell phone with 2 broken keys?"
This is on the stuff. He's got his fingers for this. If it's text, it's a disaster. On his thing, they have fireproof keyboards. Okay, so at this point, before we get into that, I'm gonna say that sort of, kind of, Meridian's gonna take her leave and say thank you all so much. We'll talk more soon, I'm sure. But yeah, I appreciate your discretion, and this is a secret thing, and you know, no one outside of this room and Topflight know that this is my plan. So. Thank you.
Noted. Understood.
Meridian will head out and fly off. Okay. At this time, Rena, yes.
It's now that she's walked away. Does she have like super hearing?
She has enhanced senses, but not like Superman senses. That's why she couldn't find the jet once it had like gone, like, you know. Yeah.
So like if I just said something like in a normal tone right now.
If you wait, you'll be fine for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna wait a little bit.
She's yeah, you're absolutely fine.
Okay. I didn't realize that Meridian's like just a little bit racist, guys. Did you notice that? Just anyone not from Earth, she like doesn't trust their opinions on things. That's so weird. She didn't like Synth Devil. Just anything he has to say, even though she felt he wasn't evil, and then apparently Lumen, just because she's not from here, we shouldn't go to her. That's super weird, guys.
I imagine it comes from her religious background and the belief that God made people in their God's own image.
Oh, that's certainly where the Synth Devil comes from.
Synth Devil
right?
side. Zeb will say, as for the Lumen side, like,
oh, hey, Zeb. You're real quiet.
He's just been here. He's just like, I mean, obviously, if Meridian says jump, I'll say how high. But he'll sort of turn to Rena and say, okay, so like on the Lumen side of it, like, have you ever talked to Lumen? Like,
no.
Here's the thing, like, Lumen is like Lumen is like a lot. Like, she is so sure about some stuff, and like so just like not. She's like, Lumen's not bad or crazy, but she's like, where is this coming from? What is your frame of reference? This is strange.
She just sounds like a strong, confident woman. Honestly, I don't see what the problem is.
I wish she was more of, okay, well, maybe watch some like YouTube clips of it. Oh, wait. Christmas 2022 Lumen Kids. Watch that video and you'll understand where Meridian and I are coming from with this. Meridian and I.
I'll look at that later.
Yeah. Just bookmark that. If you watch that, like, I think you'll be like Lumen's fine. It's just you'll watch that and you'll be like, oh, I see. So if you are going to start analyzing that data, Rena, I'm going to get to that in a moment. Billy, is there any other stuff you want to sort of do quickly at this time, or are you just kind of more interested in what Rena finds out?
No, I guess I'll kind of go through the file looking specifically for anything that might trigger anything of the occult that I could kind of think of someone that we could talk to about it that isn't connected to it, that might not put it together, you know.
Okay, I love this. So as you two are doing that, Michael, if you sort of, like step out of the room, go to whatever, you will receive a ping on your communicator asking you to go to the top floor of this facility for a meeting with Director Gallows.
Okay.
Great. So, Rena, I'm going to, I know that you've already done an analyze. I'll tell you what, Rena, because it's investigation, because you're like going through and looking for that, please make an investigation roll of that, of the document. Because you're looking for a specific thing that Billy was kind of talking about here.
I just want to be clear. I'm looking at the document. Irina also wants to research like going to other planes and how you would do that, blah blah blah, safely. But she's also researching like I don't know how to explain it. Like if there are handcuffs that when you put them on people, they no longer have magic while it's on. You know, things like that.
Yes, there are definitely some stuff like that. But
power dampening 25.
A 25. Ooh, that is a hard success for you in investigate. Now, if you wanted to, you could spend some luck and not check the box and have it be extreme, or you can just stick with a hard.
No, I want to roll.
Understood. Yeah. All right, then with a go ahead, Pierce.
I was just gonna say because within our reality, right? That like since Devil was never on the team and manacled by Topflight, because we made the decision to unmanacle him in the original timeline, right? So that never happened in this version, right?
He always had full authorization here.
Well, we'll get to that. There was a time that he didn't. He had it from that team, not from. We'll get to it. Okay. Remind me to talk about it in the future. Rena, with a hard success, you don't know this. You can find a few specific instances, and you know the numbers aren't adding up, but you are confident that this though it is basically just a text file that's been gone through, you've been looking at meta tags and metadata that people don't even know. You've been looking at quantum metadata, because that doesn't sound like a real thing, but sounds like a thing in a comic book. And you have determined that this file that you have, you've also run it through like syntax, like analysis stuff. You are very confident that there are some things missing from this. You don't think it's huge. With a hard success, you couldn't really estimate. It's not like half or something. With a hard success, you suspect it could be anywhere from like 10% redacted to 30% redacted. But definitely there is more intel if you did what Billy talked about and hacked your way in. Billy, when you're trying to think of places, I'll let you do a research on this.
Research? Cool.
Yeah.
That is a 12. That is an extreme success.
Then I'll simply say, kind of in a somewhat delayed gratification sort of way, there will be future times where you'll just have a good bit with an extreme success.
Sure.
You have many options for occult people you could look into. You're looking at many interstellar travel options. Team Tomorrow is certainly the most obvious one. Honestly, though, the Rocket Squad, not a bad thing. Maybe this is time to bring the Rocket Squad.
We do already have a contact there.
You already have, you've rejected Ace. So you have some possibilities to to get them that. So as you were kind of going through that, and Rena's kind of doing her analysis and be like, ooh, yeah, there is something redacted. We're going to go to Michael riding the elevator up to the top floor where Director Gallows is kind of the crow's nest of this building looking out. And as you sort of approach, she kind of nods to everyone around her and sort of they walk away. And she'll kind of give you a bit of a nod and say,
Director?
Agent Sheen, it's good to see you. She'll kind of gesture you over to like one of the windows, and as you pass it, you notice she hits a button, which is, I think, Michael, you would recognize that this is like some of Fiat's top level, like anti-surveillance encryption sort of stuff, So as you guys go there, and it's interesting as you step into this, it's a you can even see it, but you know that like at a distance and on cameras, it's even more intense. Like her movements are like doubled, sort of. It's almost like there's like a blur thing going on. It's like you couldn't read lips right now, kind of a thing. It's an intense vibe, but she'll sort of say, so, I just wanted to know what it was that Meridian wanted to talk to you all about.
Meridian has a mission that she needs help on.
Mission she needs help on, huh? Care to share what that mission is, Agent Sheen?
Are you ordering me to, Director, or are you asking me to use my discretion?
If I ordered you to, would you? Tell me.
I don't know how Michael Sheen would respond to that.
It's a great thing.
Yeah. It depends on the order.
I want to know what she's doing. It is unlike Meridian to request help from this, and a little birdie has told me. I don't know the details, but apparently she requested some help with something from Topflight East, and it didn't go so well. I'm curious what it is she wants to do that the other superheroes don't want, that she thinks she can borrow my agents to do. I am not going to order you to tell me, but I would certainly like for you to. Agent Sheen.
Director, in the past, you've trusted me to use my discretion on different matters.
Indeed.
I would hope that you continue to trust me if I do not say exactly what it is now, but know that I care about the mission of Fiat and Flight Infinity.
Of course. Can you tell me... Would you be willing to tell me the area of mission this would be? Are you moving against any hostile foreign powers, for example?
This will likely be extraplanar.
I see. I will expect a full report, Agent Sheen, and that is an order.
Yes, Director.
When things are over, and I'd like more information before you leave plane. Hopefully by then you'll be in a position where you can tell me more, but just know this. Meridian is the greatest hero we have. Which on the one hand means she gets a lot of leeway and a lot of trust. On the other hand, it means nobody could hurt her worse than nobody could hurt us worse than she could.
Yes, it seems my line of thinking is that regardless of where this goes, it would be important for someone to be keeping an eye on her.
That's all I'm saying, Agent Sheen. She kind of steps out of that and hits a button, and everything looks more normal.
Thank you, Director.
Michael sort of walks out of the room. Director Gallows will sort of slip her hand into a pocket and pull out a small little case. She'll open and peek inside for a moment. Snap it closed. And then she'll go and pick up a data pad and look at the other people listed there. Considering Rena and Billy and Zep. So, as Rena and Billy do a lot of research, as Michael grapples with this question from the boss, we will end with Meridian flying, quick across the world. Eventually, heading back to Alpha City. She sees Topflight Tower there in the distance, but she just feels like she can't go in there at the moment. She instead looks around the city, and as she often does when she's not sure what to do, she flies to the 3rd Street Church, where she lands outside, and she's going to go in and pray. But as she walks, could one of you please roll for me a look roll using Meridian's stats? Meridian has a 116 in look. So like we said, she's high in look, but she's not like Superman high. So Michael, you just got to do some shenanigans. Tell you what, Dan roll a d10, KJ roll a d%. 2. Are you muted?
Me? No.
30.
32. Cool. A 32 is not quite an extreme for her, but definitely hard. So I will say that as she's walking, Meridian sort of feels something, kind of that like sixth sense in her eye, and she glances over. And several feet away from the entrance of the church, and in fact sort of the sort of grounds of this church that she's walking up to. And this is like, like a kind of like a very like city kind of, large church facade, kind of in the hustle and bustle. Like something you see in like New York or something. She kind of looks over and sees that it's like a block over watching is a devilish form. Shadow and fire kind of in the shadows, but she sees horns and stuff, and she sees these eyes of this devil creature staring at her. And she sort of starts to fly, but then it disappears. She gets over to the area. Pierce, would you make an investigate for her?
Poorly.
She has a 76 in investigate.
I want to pick the more like galaxy dice for Meridian.
Oh, makes sense. Yeah, anything sunny, anything bright and sunny is a good Meridian die. Star-like.
16.
16. Ooh, would you like to spend one of Meridian's 55 luck points to not click the box and to make it extreme? Are you good with a because she has a 15 as her extreme success? Or you want to just leave it there? She'll check.
I even did a me roll for Meridian.
Even did you roll for Meridian?
Yeah, let's spend the one.
All right, so we won't click the box. Meridian will go down to 54 luck. And with an extreme success, she will know that this wasn't just a trick of the eye. She will see some sort of powder burns of brimstone and know that there was, in fact, a devil peering at her, keeping watch on her from this. With this brimstone scented soot on her hand, she exhales and kind of floats her way down the street. A couple of people wave. She waves back at them and flies into the church. Because for Meridian, there is the war in hell is a real big problem, and the fact that devils are watching her is a real big problem, and therefore for all of you. So on that very concerning moment, as Meridian feels like though she's found some people to help her, she also feels completely alone. She takes one last look up at Topflight Tower, and then she goes in to pray on her own. That is where we will end today's issue.
Well then.
So that's the setup for Meridian Salvation. So this is our new Meridian series. So yes, you may now explain that you're mad at me because I'm making you do the very thing that your other character said could not happen. I'm ready to accept anger.
I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm mad at you. I just want to draw the comparison that this is a really like fucked up version of Cinderella where you're the evil stepmother. You never actually had your own children, and Dan and I are both Cinder and Ella. And you're just ruining our fucking lives.
But doesn't she have her own kids? Aren't those the ones she sends to the ball?
I'm saying you don't have a favorite. There's no one to spoil except yourself.
That's true. Oh, so I'm both the stepmother and the daughter.
No. He spoils me because he knows that all I ever want to do is fail spectacularly. So.
Your dice do it.
Your dice do this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, maybe you two shouldn't have started a war in hell.
I just think that I was really thinking, like, what is like a compelling Meridian thing? And I was like, oh my god. All the pieces.
Sophia's right. No, Maisie's your favorite. Maisie's your daughter.
She winked at me. Look. She's right there. She smiled at me. I should let her out of her cage.
Oh god.
I should actually put Maisie in one of those locked cases.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You
That
should
would be fun. Instead of Legos.
get some LED lighting so it looks like she's like rimmed in like laser beams or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's
Yeah, there's no photos of me and Dan back there.
Well, there's. Oh, that's technically not true. You are covered up by a castle, but there is a drawing of you.
That
so
could
we're
have
hitting.
been more perfect. The fact that I'm covered up by something.
Aya is there. I think she's like. Yeah, the Aya's actually. Wait, technically, hold on. You kind of can see her. Aya's like right there, so she's behind a TIE fighter.
Right. Okay. Whatever.
Anyway, thank you guys though. I think this is exciting. Obviously, Michael's being asked by the director to like report because he's clearly who the director would ask. Rena and Billy, just kind of, well, this is interesting. I'm excited for this mission. If you guys go to space with Meridian's borrowing some Fiat agents because no one else will help her. And
Guys, maybe it'll be like the Fantastic Four. Maybe we'll hit with cosmic rays.
you could be hit with cosmic rays. It's true.
And become superheroes.
Or it could melt you. Well, so that is so basically this was Topflight Tales issue number 1, and within that this was a full issue story, was Meridian's Salvation Part 1. You now understand the salvation in question belongs to her non-existent arch nemesis Tatiana Temple. So we are going to continue this story. I don't know in 2 weeks from tonight, I'm pretty sure we'll have another Topflight Tales. I don't know if it will be a Meridian story, or if it will be a Topflight West story, or like I said, maybe just to try it out, it might be like a splash of both, anthologize. But yeah, so we are now on a mission to rescue Tatiana Temple because Meridian has to do good.
I always knew she would be coming back, and I do think that this is an interesting way for her to come back.
The other thing is, what if Meridian's right? What if you guys can have Tatiana Temple not be a bad guy? What about that?
Cool,
Good
I'm
show, I
leaving
guess.
Meridian's ass there.
You're what?
I said, cool, I'm still leaving Meridian's ass there.
Good lord. Well, on that fun note, thank you all so much for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this. I suspect that 1 week from tonight we will be back with Lost Lore Academia, but bear with us on these Wednesdays. And thank you so much to the players here who are so flexible and can sort of jump into whatever. I really appreciate that from you guys. On Friday, we are back on the the Dreadland Express in our Blood from a Stone Friday night. We are on the Dreadland Express. Dan, I don't think you're aware of this. There is going to be a seance.
Oh, cool.
Once again, we might have 7 players, but if it's anything like last week, some people won't make it and we'll be down to a reasonable number. No problem. But yeah, so that is going to be on this. They've set up a seance. They didn't want to do it without everyone, so we may be doing a seance next week. But we met some more. We met some more great detectives. The Raven Man was my personal favorite, who's just really grim, wants justice. Yeah. So check that out on Friday. Join us for that horror game. On Sunday, we are back with Strange Lore. Ooh, Strange Lore. How strange lore. That is going to be that is our sort of game that's about people writing for a sci-fi magazine in the late 1940s. Maybe we'll go into the game. Maybe we'll go into the story and see some sci-fi stuff. More than likely, it'll just all be in the Hamptons. Because they're going to the Hamptons. And then on Monday, we are back with Theme Party. And the theme party has just been rocking and rolling. It's been gone for a couple of weeks, but since it's been such a party atmosphere, we're gonna get some festive times.
I remembered that, randomly in the middle of the day, remembered when we stopped in the castle and how it went nowhere where I expected, and how it was just you and me yelling at each other in old man voices.
Hey, this guy's a real dick.
I cannot believe how hard I came at them so
You're
fast.
so mean to both of them, and they were like mean back at you. It was really funny. And it was also, the best of it is they're all identical. His robes are just nicer because he's like the highest wizard. And he treats like garbage.
And at one point I did say, I did say "sons of bitches," and I sounded exactly like the dad from Christmas Story, and it really freaked me out for a second.
So yeah, check out Theme Party. It's a lot of fun. That'll be on Monday. So thank you all so much for watching. Go to our YouTube to watch old episodes. Go to our Discord to interact with us. Go to the wiki, which I now know has even more. Another one of our Star Tale series is on there with descriptions as well. That was posted today on the Discord. So check out that wiki. It's really cool. Please follow all these wonderful players. They do very cool things on the internet and off. Would anybody like to plug anything specific today?
First, some people to thank. Thank you, Book and Dagger, for subscribing. That's now 33 months. And then we had a couple raids tonight, which was awesome. First, Swole Initiative Network raided. And then later on, we had Tabletop Down raid as well. So thank you both for dropping people off and hanging out. We're currently, we're up to like close to like 40 people at one point, so people were sticking around and watching. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
I like to plug that it's the new year.
New year, new beer. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
I guess if you happen to have Apple Arcade, there is a new version of the Oregon Trail in there.
Ooh.
That you can also sync with your watch, so you will walk the Oregon Trail.
Oh, that's interesting because I have a watch and Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
I also noticed that what's it called? Dreamlight Valley is now on Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that seems
So,
weird.
What a time to be alive.
Guys, Apple Arcade has so much stuff. And we'd like to thank our presenting sponsor, Google Play.
No, our biggest sponsor, DraftKings.
Guys, whenever you want to draft and you want to be not a commoner about it,
enter code LLLDRTR for $100 for your first draft.
Oh my gosh, in your first draft, you get to draft every king you want. You get to draft King Charles of England. You
The
get
Merovingian.
to draft... What?
The Merovingian.
Is that... the...
You get Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Merovingian. Thank you. Well, on that note, on that seamless outro, thank you all for watching. We appreciate it. Until next time, and I'm not changing it up because we really just have this one thing. Since all Topflight Tales, we will end as we always do by saying, have a top night.